There he
Yeah,
is.
what's up? Hey, well, hey, I thought I joined in already, but I guess I did it. What's up, Glazer?
How are you, my friend? What are you drinking there? Anything?
Nah, not drinking anything, man. Not drinking anything. Maybe some a little bit of water.
Okay.
I just got to drinking a little bit of Sheila G. You ever hear about that stuff?
No, what do you got there?
It's it's like this mineral, like it's like dark tarry stuff. It's good for you. It's
Steroids.
like
Steroids. Be honest. Like,
nah,
that's fine. No more drug tests. You're good.
that man, I don't get down like that.
Uh, hold on. You got
What's going
broken
on
up
here? You
there.
got the bad Wi-Fi, Jay? Jay got a bad Wi-Fi?
What are we doing here? You guys still see? We got to get you back here. Hold on. Let's do it again. Come on. See, my friends come on and they have shitty service. Come on, sugar. Let's try it again.
Hey,
Got me now?
yeah. Well, is that your Wi-Fi?
No, it's not my Wi-Fi. Is that? Whoa. You can say what you want about me, but I'll be dead about Wi-Fi like that.
I think it's your Wi-Fi.
You're still on like 14.4 baud from like AOL.
What's up, man? How you doing? It's good to see you, man.
I look fantastic. Thank you for noticing.
Well, that goes without saying, Jay. I think I'm seeing more of your neck than I ever seen ever in my life. Rashad, you can just see Jay's neck is just growing, Rashad.
So explain to everybody who you're imitating right there.
So that's my mother right there. When me and Jay used to work together, she would always just always talk about Jay Glazer. She loved Jay Glazer, you know what I'm saying? And I would always just like make up stuff like that. And I'll just make up stuff like one time I'll say to Jay, hey Jay, one time my mother said, Rashad, Jay can't use nothing but Head and Shoulders shampoo, Rashad, because Jay ain't got no neck, Rashad.
Hey, well, what we got your mom to call on the show, right? To kind of tell.
Oh, yeah. So one time I got my mom to call on the show, and I had no idea. You know, I'm always imitating my mom. And just as I was breaking into an imitation of my mom, she called right on the phone. She said, Rashad, now I know you ain't over there mocking me, Rashad. I know you ain't over there talking about me. And my face at the time just dropped like,
But
oh, oh my gosh. I mean, it's one thing to imitate your mom when she's not around, but like when she around, when she can hear you, ooh, I don't know about that, man.
oh my God. So now here's why I want you to come on. Because Rashad has this neighbor, and this neighbor is he's somewhat of a nuisance to Rashad. I was just gonna say it like that. He bullies you. Set up the neighbor here.
Oh, yeah. So when I first moved into my neighborhood, it was a while ago. I had this guy who lived across the street from me. Now I live in Boca. Old, a lot of old folks in Boca, you know, and they're very, very nosy, very nosy. They want to know everything that you're doing. You know, they want to know who knew. They want to know every single detail. You know, so they have nothing to do. They're retired. You know, so I moved in, and people kind of knew around the neighborhood that some fighter moved in, and he comes over to my house, and he just knocks on the door, and he's knocking on the door, and I finally answer. He says, "Oh, so how are you?" And I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he says, well, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good." So you're you must be the colored boxer. And he said, "Colored boxer," and I was like, I mean, like it's old people, you know what I'm saying? Like you try not to get mad at him. I was just like, I didn't even address the color part. I was just like, nah, I do. I mean, it was just I would have been like, man, I've been talking to him all day, so I was like, you know what? I said I don't box. I just do mixed martial arts, and he was like, I just seen the confusion just all over his face, Jay. Just oh, mixed martial arts. What's mixed martial arts? And I said, you get into the cage and then you fight somebody. And he's like, oh, well, to each their own. And then I was just like, okay. And then he just like walked away and he said, there goes your neighborhood. Hey, and just kept it moving because he never knew how to finish a conversation, Jay. Just always just walk off on you. Well, see you later.
What about the time that he
Oh,
shit
when
training hard enough?
oh my gosh. Yeah. So after a while, like this old dude, he was just like clocking me all the time. No matter what I was doing, I could just feel him just like watching me. You know what I'm saying? So one time, uh, I was waking up early in the morning to go run like 6 in the morning, and every once in a while I see him, and every single time I see him, I like try like to just ignore him because I hate our awkward conversations. So
Well,
you
and he
know,
called
there's
boxer, so
well, I
you're
mean, yeah, I mean,
right.
there's that. There's that whole thing. So yeah, so then he's I missed a couple of days of running in the morning, and I was on it like for like probably like a good 4 weeks, just consistently waking up in the morning running, and I'll see him every once in a while, but he must have seen me a lot more than I seen him. So I missed a couple of days, and I was going to practice in the afternoon, and I was going to the car, and I seen him in the driveway, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta hurry up and go. Before I know it, boom, he's right by my window, and I was like, damn, I'm caught in a conversation with him. So then he was like, so what do you got going on? Super nosy once again. I always want to know what I got going on. So I'm like, oh man, just training. And he said, oh, I see you got a big one coming up. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I have been. Yeah, I do got a big one coming up. And he says, yeah, I see, I see you've been running sometimes in the mornings. Yeah, get the cardio down. He says, huh, well, I haven't seen you in a few days. And I was like, and I was, yeah, start making excuses. And he just looked at me up and down and just says, you want to win, don't you? And just walked off. And just walked off after that, Jay. Just walked off and just left me just with that, just left me that in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Just left it in my mind. Who is he to do that to me?
He's like, freaking Glazer's grandfather lives here. Son of a bitch. Oh my God.
Yeah, man. What's that?
Who else you got an invitation for on this? You do a good Tyson, right? You got a fight coming up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't do Tyson. I don't do Tyson
Oh, you don't want to
imitation
fuck with him
anymore.
now, right? Because now
Nah,
he's
I mean,
you don't deal with it.
no, that's my boy. That's my boy. That's like me doing. That's like me doing an impression of Jay Glazer. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. I can't do that on the grand stage, huh? Nah, Jay. I mean, come on. I don't want Jay. Come on. I mean, come on, Jay. Come on.
Hey,
I gotta wait till you're not around to do an impression of you. I mean, come on. Who am I? I'm joking.
come on, give it a Glazer shot. Let me hear it.
I really don't have a Glazer shot, man. I swear I don't have a Glazer shot. I've been, it's
I
been a while.
hey,
It's been a while.
Rashad. Jay got no neck, Rashad.
There you go. Rashad, Jay is no necked it, Rashad. It's just gone, Rashad. All head, no shaft, Rashad.
What is? Give me a question. You got a question for me?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Jay. I always have so much respect for your MMA game, and a lot of people don't know how good you are.
Okay.
So my question was this. Listen, I mean, I've trained alongside you for many years, coming to LA and working alongside you at Fox. Now, my thing is this: you're pretty dang good. Why didn't you go farther with your MMA?
Because the day I signed with Fox, I had two fights when I worked at CBS, and I just told them I was doing mixed martial arts. I didn't say anything about a cage. And I would actually go down, fight Atlantic City Boardwalk Hall, back when it was style versus style, and then be on TV the next day. Nobody have any clue. And my
Mm,
first day at Fox, I won the Nagas, and these heavyweights fell over on the next mat over, stomped on my face. Man, I got my eyes shut. I broke a foot, a rib. I was all fucked up. My very first day at Fox the next day. I walked in. David Hill's the chairman of Fox. I come in there, and he's like, what the fuck just happened to you? I'm like, I just won the World Submission Fighting Championships. And he goes, I don't know what the fuck that is, but you will never fucking do it again. And I'm like, why? I'm clearly not on TV for my looks. Then I realized I am on TV for my looks. But
That's
they got
okay.
before MMA was big. So man, I got killed. And I still would train and train and train. And one day I was getting ready. One of our teammates, Jamie Varner, was getting ready to fight Benson Henderson. I was trying to show him looks as a southpaw. He broke a tooth here, this tooth here. Then the guy, Tim McKenzie, cut me here. And the gash here. Oh, and I broke this right here.
Ooh.
Weird. So, and I had to go host a show with Tim Brown, Jason Sear, and Eddie George. And I literally walk in like this. And the makeup girl looks at me and she goes,
Looking ugly. Makeup can't fix that.
and I go, what? Just use some makeup. She's like, you're missing a tooth.
Oh my God.
So the gang at Fox said, hey, we're all about your fight career. I'm like, great. If you come in one more day with anything, you're off the air forever. So
Wow.
I wasn't a good fighter, Rashad, until I met you guys, where I learned from you and Randy and Chuck what it was really like behind the rib cage and between the ears. I liked the fight. I felt that's where I kind of belonged. Mental health-wise, I felt, and I'm sure you understand this, right? We feel comfortable in a cage.
Right.
And the real world's scary.
Yeah.
For us,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think even though you didn't fight, I think you transitioned into the space really well. I mean, that gym that you have at Unbreakable, that's been some of my best training when I go to the LA area. I mean, you have so many different people coming in there, and that's the thing about it. You can see some of the best talent from all over the world, from all different disciplines coming to that gym. I got a chance to work with some of the best ground guys and stand-up guys and just coming to the gym. So, I mean, having these kind of people coming to the gym, I mean, you got to be just absorbing all that knowledge and just growing as a coach so much too.
You know, success breeds success. So I learned from every one of them. My bad coaches are ones who think they know everything. I learned from everybody. I can learn from a white belt who's brand new. I learned something from them, and then kind of put it in my own words, if you will, and be able to repeat it and coach it to others. And that's what a good coach does. So I take something from you or this person, that person might be from a businessman. You never know. And it could just, because everything, it's not the physical part, right? It's between the ears and behind the rib cage, what separates that man across from you. And those who aren't willing to take those 3 steps up into that cage, or those who aren't willing to kind of go for their dreams. And that's what, so I could learn something from you. I learned something from Wiz Khalifa. I learned something from Demi Lovato. I learned something from Kirstie Ennis, who's an amputee. I learned something from a Nate Boyer. Learned something from a Chuck Liddell. Learned something from a Randy Couture. And we all kind of build each other up. And I like to say, walk this walk together. I'm glad I got in when I did these early days, and I got to coach.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I like that. I wish I was able to fight more, but I think I would have been way better if I had learned all this that I've known now from learning from you guys, and I can go back. I would have been a different, I guess, fighter, if you will. But yeah, I hang with all you guys, and I'm proud of it.
But I mean, even now, like what you know right now and what you continue to learn and continue to be a student of the game, you continue to bring it along with you in different areas where you would normally think it's applicable, like in football. You know, you've been really good at, showing the hand fighting techniques and the hand fighting drills that we do and how it transitions over to football. And that's just something that, that I really first started seeing you, the first one to start doing stuff like that.
And that's the thing. I would tell our football players, man, if you can get what Rashad Evans or Randy Couture, any of us have behind our ribcage, we're just relentless. And the hand violence and that thought of going into that cage and locking that cage door. And if you could we could transfer that for football players with their athletic ability, and you make that game the same thing. That cage door locks, and you make those guys across and you beg to get off that field, then we've done our job. Like, we've taken that fighter mentality, given to them. At the same right, I've come to you guys, right? Whoa, I've come to you guys and said, man, I want to increase the sport IQ in mixed martial arts, because I've sat there with the Michael Strahans all night long, and he's watching film. He's like, Jay, look at this. Look at the John Runyon of the Eagles. When his right heel is like this and down, they're running on second downs to their right. Do you see this? I'm like, what are you looking at, dude? Or the Rondé Barber's going, hey, man, watch this. This receiver on 3rd and 8, he's going to go running in on the – how do you know? Because when he's going to run an in pattern, he's lined up like this instead of like this. Like these little things that they would see, this repetition would try and get that sport IQ and give it to fighters who would just go in there and fight. And I would try and give, little things that people don't think about. Even like, man, Ava Knight's on here. We were she made the transition from boxing to MMA. I had her come out. I said, I want you to come early, and I want you to be in the arena the whole freaking time. I want you to have the smells and the sights and the sounds and everything. So when you walk in that cage, it's not new. That's the only sport they don't do that. Football and warm-ups go on for 2.5 hours. Baseball, they're out for 2 hours. Basketball, they're always warming up, right? Fighting, first time you're in a cage is when you walk in there to go fight.
Yeah.
So I try and take different things that I learned from each and teach it to both sides.
Yeah, I agree. There's a huge sports performance, preparation that's missing when it comes to the psychological aspect, when it comes to MMA. A lot of people, I think now a lot of athletes are now starting to be, take more of a conscious inventory of every single thing leading up to the fight. But, for the longest time to even come from that place of having that kind of mental insecurity around fighting, it was kind of looked at as, you're not a real fighter, and it wasn't until, I heard guys like GSP and Cowboy and other fighters who I had a lot of respect for, talk about just, how that fear sometimes can paralyze you, and just, that anxiety. It's just an anxiety about, what's going to happen and not knowing what's going to happen. And just that whole ride can take your mind on just a course of, something that you don't even anticipate. And if you don't do that mental preparation before you get to that event, when that happens to you, it can throw you for a loop. Because for a while, I would used to always, like, when I felt that feeling, I would try to run away from it, and it would just make the fight that much harder and make it not enjoyable, because I was trying to feel normal when my normal has shifted, because now I'm getting ready for a fight. So I have to adjust what I consider normal. I can't base my feelings that I normally feel as being my normal when it's fight week. So I had to understand that, and I had to just understand that comes with me just embracing where I am, and then just embracing every single aspect of the fight, which is the anxiety and the mental stress of it, and actually start to look forward to having that anxiety or stress as a sign of my readiness, not of, my not readiness.
No, George St. Pierre, they're the best who ever lived, and certainly one of them. One day we sat there, and he admitted he was petrified to go in there, and he was vulnerable about it, and he was okay with that. He wasn't ashamed of it, and he was using that and said, I've got to then, that's why he goes down with the gi. He transforms himself into somebody else when he walks out there. And I try and tell that story so often to our guys also, like, it's okay. You could transform into something. This is not a normal thing. It's, it's one thing when a fight breaks out and you're in a bar and boom, you got no time to think. But man, there's such a different set of nerves when somebody says, hey, I'm going to fight you in front of the whole world at 11 o'clock at night. There's going to be millions of people watching, and the guy across from you, he's allowed to try and kill you, and he's an expert at this. Go. I mean, it's just, you don't talk about the roommates in your head getting you and talking yourself out of it. And that's why for people who are famous, let's say, come into it, like CM Punk did, or we have, in Bellator, big pro wrestler who came in. I love the guy.
Oh, I know you're talking about. He's at Next right now, right?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Jake Hager.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was looking at something else. I think you don't get to really work out your set of nerves. Like, it's such a different set of nerves, and things are so fast when you first go in. You need like smokers. You need people not watching. You need to kind of understand,
Yeah.
And that's what Brock. Well, okay, he was able to, do well, early on, better than most, because man, it's a different set of nerves, right? And you got to kind of get your ass kicked for a little while when nobody's watching to deal with that set of nerves. It's just different.
No, it is. Those nerves are it's what it's all about though. And it's when you understand that is the fight. Like, forget the guy that's across the cage from you. Forget about that. He just brings a different set of variables that you're gonna have to answer, at a second's notice. But forget about all that. You do that all the time in training. What the real fight is you harnessing, your mind, you not giving into those thoughts, you being able to, remember the technique and the performance and everything, that's the fight, and
Great, it's okay, and that's, people don't understand that, and that's the other thing too. Like, people kind of rip fighters in social media. Like, are you shitting me? Like, trust me, y'all would never, ever, ever, ever. You may sign on the dotted line, think it's a good idea, but come that fucking week coming out, trust me, you were looking for fucking injuries to pull the fuck out of that. It is not like the rest of the world. Even just training with you guys. And again, I've only had a couple of them, but it allows me to walk in any room that I walk in and go, I ain't like the rest of you. Like, I'm different, right? And different is what leads us to success. Anything you do in the rest of your life, Rashad, you got to go, man, A, you've had that gold around your waist. B, it's just different. You got in at an early time too, when we didn't know what we didn't know. That makes you different than everybody else for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and for me, it really comes down to how far are you willing to suffer, and that's always one thing that I've always tried to like tried to make in my mind. Even if I was going against fighters who I thought was better than me, I always try to be like, no matter what happens in this fight, they're gonna feel me. I'm gonna make them just hate the fact that they even had to fight me or even may have to fight me again. And I always wanted to just be able to outsuffer my opponent, and that's what it became to me about, how much can I endure without getting to that breaking point? Because when you're in a fight with somebody, the guy wants it just as bad as you. And there's a moment where you almost think that he may have it over you, but then there's a second and it's really hard and it's really subtle, but you just know it and you feel it. And you just know at that moment you broke your opponent. And there's nothing that he's going to do. If you give him a window, he'll crawl through it. But for the most part, you just feel you just took a soul. Now that feeling right there is better than having your hand raised on at night, because you have a victory in the heart and you know that you won that fight. That's that feeling. That's that feeling of, I outsuffered this guy. I brought him to a point and he didn't want to go. He got afraid. He couldn't swim this deep. That's what I like to feel.
You could hear it, right? Like a twig breaks. You hear it when someone breaks. There's nothing. And all of a sudden you forget you're tired.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's will against will. It just
Yeah.
makes, right?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. When that feeling of you just outwilled another man who did the same exact thing as you did and who's at the same level as you, and your will is that strong, and that's what, when you see guys who are just on a level of Habib and, John Jones and, I'll even say McGregor, for the matter of the fact that this guy has willed himself to be where he is right now, where everybody's calling his name. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen him will himself into fight and beat fighters that I didn't think or anybody else think he should beat. So, that's what that willing is about, being able to mentally put yourself in a situation where no matter what happens, you know that you are gonna come out on top. And when you have that mentality, you have it for the rest of your life, because no matter what happens, you know that you're willing to go to the end.
You know, motherfucker, I'm different. That's what you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it is.
Hell yeah.
It can never get taken from you. Like, you find
Yeah.
out who you were. And when you do, and I think too often people forget it, whether their uniform comes off or their gloves come off, they think their greatness was left behind with it. And it wasn't. Like for you,
Right.
Rashad, and put down that cage. That greatness with you forever. Don't ever forget that, dude.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Well, I love you for joining me, dude. And by the
No
way,
doubt.
parting gifts. All my guests who come on get our Champions and Legends CBD cream. How about that?
Okay. Okay.
Bro, game changer. Game changer. Go to Champions and Legends. Go to their website. I put it on my jaw every night for my TMJ. And, you know, I just had shoulder surgery. It's got me through that. I had shoulder surgery because fucking Alden Smith tore my labrum and 2 rotator cuff tears and 2 bone spurs in here. And I trained him for 5 months like that. And you know me, I'm always like, don't show it.
I
Neutral face.
know. I know. I know.
Don't show it. Neutral face. Fuck you, Jay Glazer. That shit hurt.
Hey, you got to try some exosomes, man. Exosomes.
What is that?
Exosomes. Exosomes, they're like stem cells.
Talking about?
Huh?
Steroids you're taking now that you're talking about?
No. Nah, it's like stem cells, but better. It's for like tears and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'll call you offline about that. I definitely do. But I'll send
Yeah.
you, just shoot me your address, because I hit you up today, you and Chuck, and it was on that text chain was you, Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, Ryan Bader, Uriah Faber.
CB Delaware. CB Delaware. I love me some CB Delaware. Huh?
Uriah Hall, and Uriah Hall was the dumbass.
Okay.
Who's this? He don't have anybody's phone number. He was like, who's this? And you see, and, but I'm sending you some our GNC products, and I'll send you this too, brother. I
All right,
appreciate
cool.
the patient of your neighbor before you go.
Well, Jay, I hope you have a good night and get your goddamn Wi-Fi fixed. Yeah.
I love you, brother. Thanks, man.
Love you too, man. Take care.
All right, take care.